Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Ranking Member Simpson, committee members. Delighted to have this opportunity to testify before the subcommittee. I am delighted that my co-chair had to follow Mike's opening statement, and I am delighted to share the table here with a distinguished colleague and who's been a longtime champion of the arts, Representative Slaughter. I want to add two thanks before getting into my testimony, and that's one to my predecessor as co-chair, Chris Shays, who was a great advocate for the arts for many years, co-chaired with Representative Slaughter the Arts Caucus, and know that I have big shoes to fill in succeeding him in this role. Also to the true artists and talented individuals who will be on the second panel, to their testimony and their willingness to be here and give of their time and advocate before your subcommittee is much appreciated. The arts enrich and improve the lives of all who encounter them by providing educational value, therapeutic services, and positive economic impacts to local communities. It is for these reasons that I believe the federal government should continue to provide investments to the federal arts programs, the National Endowment for the Arts, and the Arts and Education Program. For over 40 years, the NEA has provided steady investment to the arts infrastructure across this great nation of ours, funding arts programs that emphasize a wide variety of art activities such as dance, literature, music, and theater. The NEA is able to engage Americans with varied interest. The NEA partners with state arts agencies to serve all corners of the United States and funds grant programs, as my co-chair said, in every one of our congressional districts. The arts plays a critical role in educational and cultural well-being of all American citizens. A study published by the National Assembly of State Art Agencies and the Arts Education Partnership found that students with an education rich in the arts have better grade point averages in core academic subjects, score better on standardized tests, and have lower dropout rates than students without arts education. The NEA not only provides educational programs for adults, but also creates partnerships between arts institutions and kindergarten through 12th grade educators to ensure that children and young adults are engaged in participatory learning programs. In addition to the thousands of grant programs administered by the NEA, it also operates a number of national initiatives aimed at engaging art scholars of all ages. One example is the Big Read. The Big Read gives communities the opportunity to come together to read, discuss, and celebrate selections from American and world literature. The NEA equips schools, libraries, and other community organizations with reading materials, discussion guides, DVDs, and additional resources to hold panel discussions, exhibits, and theatrical readings related to the stories. Another example of an NEA national initiative is Operation Homecoming. The NEA created Operation Homecoming in 2004 to help U.S. troops and their families write about their wartime experiences. Through this program, some of America's most distinguished writers have conducted workshops at military installations and contributed to educational resources to help the troops and their families tell their stories. Operation Homecoming hosted 59 writing workshops at Department of Veterans Affairs medical centers, military hospitals, and affiliated centers in communities around our country. In tandem with the workshops, the NEA offered an open call for writing submissions to active military personnel and their families. This ongoing call has resulted in more than 1,200 submissions and 12,000 pages of writings. Almost 100 of the submissions to the NEA were featured in the anthology Operation Homecoming, Iraq, Afghanistan, and the Home Front in the words of United States troops and their families. I commend the subcommittee for its past support for the NEA. The last 2 fiscal years in particular included an increased investment in the arts through the NEA. This funding was critical in maintaining the NEA's ability to help local arts agencies maximize their economic and social contributions to our communities. The nonprofit arts industry generates, as was stated, over $166 billion annually in economic activity and returns over $12 billion in tax revenues to the federal government. In fact, for every one federal dollar invested in the arts, almost $9 are returned. Through their thousands of grant programs and national initiatives, the NEA has exposed a countless number of Americans to the arts in a cost-effective way. I urge the subcommittee to continue its important work and support for this investment and provide additional funding as available for the NEA in the fiscal year 2010 Interior Appropriations Bill. And although I'd be honored to submit this for the record, I more proudly want to display it in my office. My latest addition to what I call the TJ and Tom Art Gallery. TJ is my 12-year-old, Tom is my 10-year-old, and unplanned, this was given to me last night by my just turned 10-year-old son, Tom, his latest artistic addition or creation that will be proudly displayed here in my D.C. office. And as I said this morning at the Arts Breakfast, the TJ and Tom Art Gallery is always open for view by any and all. So I welcome your visits to the office. And again, I thank this committee and your leadership, Chairman Dix, Ranking Member Simpson, for your support for the arts, and yield back. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.